one thing that I wanted to ask you about too is the only Achilles heel that I might see in Ford, and it's not an Achilles heel, but one of the red flags that I'm watching is your relations with the UAW. Mm-hmm. They rejected any more concessions to allow you to match Chrysler and GM. Now they're protesting that you're restoring some benefits to your white-collar staff. Where is that going in the future?
Oh, absolutely. Well, first of all, we have had a tremendously mutually beneficial relationship with the UAW, as you know. And what we did together in 2007, and then also early in 2009, was a transformation agreement that is now allowing us to make cars in the United States and make them profitable, which is just so important for all of us. Now, that last a little bit, when Chrysler and GM went through bankruptcy, everybody was burned out, and so there are a few things that we need to continue to work on. But I am absolutely confident that the UAW and our members know that the most important thing is the competitiveness of Ford going forward for all of us, because that is what's going to create these fabulous jobs. And to be able to announce today in Chicago that we're going to make the new Explorer in Chicago, right along with the Taurus. We're going to do it with U.S. workers.
You're hiring people.
And we're going to be providing great opportunities.
1,200 people, 1,200 new jobs,
this is
right?
Terrific news for everybody associated with our Ford.
Explain, because I'm going to look up. We've got questions coming in. My staff's telling me from the chat room, but explain why the Explorer would move from St. Louis to Chicago.
Oh, well, it's going from Louisville to Chicago.
Okay,
and
Louisville, excuse me.
And the reason is that it's on the same platform going forward as the Taurus. So we'll have that all in the same factory. We get the scale of doing that for it. Plus, from an Explorer point of view, we're moving from a body-on-frame to a unibody construction. So not only are they going to get all the neat things about the Explorer, but they're going to get a 25% improvement in fuel efficiency with the 6-speed transmission and the EcoBoost engine, plus all that utility that goes with the Explorer. So I think it's going to be an exciting product.
Could this be a revival of the Explorer? I mean,
well,
it used to sell 400,000 of those things or something.
Well, we're
like
not
that.
planning on those kind of numbers because, clearly, which is one reason that we at Ford have chosen a balanced portfolio, of small, medium, and large cars, utilities, and trucks, because we want to be there for all the consumers and what they want. But that segment for the bigger SUV is a very important segment, and I think we're going to have the very best vehicle in there.
Okay, our friend Frank in West Haven, Connecticut wants to know, what about Mercury? 15 years out, where's Mercury fit into the picture?
Well, Mercury's a very exciting story because, clearly as we focus even more on Ford and we move Lincoln even more into the luxury plan, there's a wonderful, wonderful market in between Ford and Lincoln, especially on the smaller vehicles. And so that's where we're focused on Mercury, and people love the new Mercurys they're seeing.
Can you get away from Mercury's just being essentially nicer Fords?
Well, I think so, because clearly Lincoln is going to move upscale quite a bit, because that's where people want to go with Lincoln, because they love that brand. Of course, Ford is going to continue to improve. So I think that right in between Ford and Lincoln is going to be, especially on the smaller vehicles, is going to be a good sweet spot for Mercury.
Okay, Salvador G says, Ford offers all kinds of engines. What about diesels, he says, especially, and he hits on one of my hot ones, a diesel for the Transit Connect.
Absolutely, and I'd add diesels for the smaller F-150s too. And again, it goes back to our previous conversation that we're working on diesels across the board, and it really gets down to getting the cost down on the after treatment so we can get into a lot of vehicles with scale.
Espo in Prescott, Arizona says, he's a retired Big Three. He says, has Ford thought of extending employee discounts to GM and Chrysler workers?
I don't know, but I will take that action item and I'll go back. But clearly he knows that a lot of people are moving from other vehicles over to Ford now because of the strength of the product line.
Amato in Saginaw says, loves all your products. I'm paraphrasing it.
Thank you, Amato.
He says, I've got to have a Mustang. He says, what about a base Mustang with a big engine? No frills, just a big engine.
I think we're going to have what Amato wants going forward. This is a neat thing about Mustang, because people always wonder how long we're going to keep going with it. We are committed to the Mustang forever. It is a fabulous vehicle.
How promising is battery technology? Can you make EVs mainstream, say, by 2020?
That's a really good question, and it really goes with...
And that was Alan in Milford, just so I...
Okay, Alan, it's a very important question, because the key to battery electric vehicles, and hybrids, I might add, to get them into the mainstream in volume is going to be that we increase the capability, we decrease the size, we decrease the weight, and we can charge them when it's hot and cold, and we can do it fast. And so we've got a full court press on developing the batteries because that is the key.
Kevin McMahon in Southfield says, will you commercialize the Lion diesel engine for the F-150? You just sort of hinted at maybe F-150 getting something here.
Well, I don't have anything to announce right now, Kevin, but I will talk to our product development team.
That's great. Let's see, what else do we have here? How about variants on the Fusion? There's an interesting, this is Michael Shipley from Ridgely, Maryland.
Yes.
He wants to know, what about a sport wagon, a two-door coupe? What about variants of the Fusion?
I think that Michael's going to see all the variations that he might want on all of our vehicles. I'll just give you an example. On the new Fiesta we've just launched worldwide, and now the new Focus, we're going on that C platform, we're going to have 10 different variations off that same platform. It's going to be over 2 million vehicles per year servicing the world. And we're going to serve 122 markets, because the key is, do you have a really fuel-efficient, high-quality platform that's safe, and then do you have the variations that people really do want? So on every one of the vehicles, he's going to see more variation.
2 million off one platform is awesome.
And on top of that, on the Fiesta, John, probably maybe 65% of all the parts are the same. On the new Focus worldwide, up to 80% of the parts are the same, and yet the parts that are different are customized for exactly what the consumers want around the world.
And of course, that kind of scale is what's going to allow Ford to make real money off small cars.
Absolutely, and provide the very best value to our customers.
Okay, this will be the last one that we take from the chat room. J.D. Clough in Burlington, Ontario, Canada, says there was some talk about an F-100 truck smaller than the F-150. Whatever became of that, or will anything
that
become
is
of that?
another consideration, because clearly we have the Ranger and we have the F-Series, and we just launched the new Ranger, which is a wonderful vehicle.
But not in this market.
All around the world.
Yeah, everywhere
And so
but here.
Yeah, so the real question inside the United States is what do people really want? We're with enough volume that makes sense. People love the starters in the 150 because they get all that capability for the 150. But clearly, there's some people believe that a really neat Ranger would be good too. So I want you to know that your Ford team is looking at both those options. and when we have something to announce, you'll be the first to know.
Well, that's terrific. Alan Mulally, thank you so much for stopping by.
You're welcome.
Here. It's terrific having
And John, if I could just,
Do
on a personal note, I remember when I arrived 3 years ago, and everybody said, you need to call John. And I just treasured your input then. You care so much about the industry, the way you report about it, and the way you're capturing the Ford transformation. I just want to thank you for everybody associated with this great company.
Well, I'll thank you, but especially on the part of my whole team here, where they get the credit for making me look good.
Let's just keep this profitably growing company going.
Bingo, we'll do that. Alan, what a pleasure. It's been great having you
Thanks
here.
a lot, John. Good to see you.